Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So, I asked what this reading was going to be about, and what I heard is guiding you out of the shadows. So, the feel that I get is this is something that you've been dealing with. That's kind of been the theme of the past several talks that we've had. Something that you've been dealing with, kind of coming to a resolution, coming to a conclusion, and you just really needing to take the time to allow this conclusion to occur. Some things just need to end. Some things just need to be allowed to end. And if you allow yourself to recognize, ooh, okay. So Michael's speaking to me right now, right? And he's saying, oh, you're starting stuff, yo. Okay. He's saying if some people would just allow themselves to recognize when they've lost. I don't know who he's talking to, but I'm here for it. I'm here for all the tea. Goodness gracious, Michael has spoken. I guess some people don't recognize that they've already lost whatever it is they're doing. The feel that I get is whoever is being addressed right now is not you. It's the person that is it's the person that keeps trying to negatively impact you. All of their efforts for nothing, because nothing is actually impacting you in the way that they want. You've entered into a space of shadow. Yes, you have. Probably because you're frustrated, probably because, this and that, all of these different reasons. Maybe you're just exhausted. I don't know. But you have entered into a space of shadow, and you're simply needing to exit out of that. That comes from a perception, not actual perspective. Perception is more rooted in opinion. It's filtered typically through a space of traumas, previous traumas, earlier life traumas. Perspective, on the other hand, it's more rooted in the positioning of where you're at in your journey. And that's what's greatly affecting the way you see things. So one is from the filter of previous trauma. The other is from the positioning that you currently have within your life. Guiding you out of the shadows. You're going to be okay. All right. Okay. So there's something that's trying to be presented here. First and foremost, you're coming home to yourself. Whatever you're dealing with, you're not going to be dealing with it much longer. Just make sure you double down. Make sure you fully commit. You need to get yourself out of this. You need to push through. Just keep pushing. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Now, there is someone I wouldn't be surprised if this applies to me and I know exactly who's being spoken about. I wouldn't be surprised. There's someone who's trying to present you as some crazy girl who's unstable. Really. A crazy girl who is unstable. Are you? Are you just some cuckoo cuckoo? You just someone that's crazy? Or are you being labeled as crazy? Are you being presented as crazy and unstable because you are so powerful in this truth that you are telling? I'm not talking about your truth. I'm talking about factuality, presenting the facts as they are. And the only defense to truth is what? I'm over here putting chapstick on because, we're going to put some lip balm. So when we talk our shit in this live stream, at least our lips will be moisturized. Are you simply really good at presenting facts And so someone is trying to paint you as their opinion of crazy. They're trying to gaslight you into a space of thinking as though you are crazy. The reality is this: you can no longer be contained in that shadow space that you entered into willingly, right? I think for some of us, we entered into this shadow space simply because we didn't want to deal with what was being forced on us. We didn't want to deal with it. We didn't want to participate. And rather than taking that feeling of not wanting to participate and making it clear, you do not have permission to force me into this situation. You will not force me into any situation. We retreated. And in that retreat, we gave the impression, because some people are just not very intelligent. Some people think that if you get quiet, that you've given up and they've won. No, let me tell the not intelligent people on your behalf and on my behalf. When those of us who are intelligent get quiet, it's because we realize how dumb you are and that it's nonsensical to waste our energy and our words because you don't understand anything beyond your objective of making other people miserable. It's not us saying you've won. It's us thinking to ourselves, you're just dumb. I'm not wasting my time on this. And that's why we have gotten quiet on it. That was the wrong move for us, guys. It was the wrong move because the unintelligent uh, don't understand even the simplest thing like that, right? Even the simplest thing like that. The unintelligent will rationalize to themselves, oh, now I got you. Now I got you. Have they got you? Or did you simply get to a space where you're like, oh, whatever. Say what you want. I don't even care. This is just so, this is such a waste of time. This is like ridiculous. I don't even care. So next time, because there's going to be a next time. There is. There's going to be a next time, and there's probably going to be a different person because your higher self wants to ensure that you've learned this lesson thoroughly, completely, and that you will not repeat this ever again. So next time you see something like this starting, interrupt them. And now is not the time to be politically correct. I have learned my rudeness is absolutely a superpower when applied appropriately. When it comes to people who are extremely rude, people who are looking to dominate your space, your conversation, your time, whatever it is, I give myself permission to just be rude right off the bat and be like, I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck. What are you even talking about? Like, do you ever hear yourself? Do you ever stop and listen to the things that come out of your mouth? No, you really should, because you're painting yourself as something. I don't know if you want to look stupid or if you're actually just stupid, but that's how you're looking. If I were you, I'd be quiet. I give myself permission at this point because I see there's something in me personally that encourages people to be more of who they are. And if I don't like who you are, like how you're presenting yourself, your characteristics, the way you treat other people, not only are you going to have a wall placed in front of you, you're going to smack your whole face into it because I will not budge on this anymore. The only time I will visit my shadow spaces is when I choose to. No one else ever again will force me into that space. And I hope you join me in this stance that I'm taking, not to support me, but I'm talking about for you in your journey. If you are guided out of those shadows by your soul, stop volunteering to be dragged right back there by people who never wanted your success. your healing, your peace. So I'm learning there's a difference between fighting back and being a massive brick wall. How do you fight a brick wall? A formidable brick wall, not just one layer of brick, and positioned in such a way where its strength and structural integrity is something that is even more formidable. There are some areas of the world where they make the brick walls that are wavy. Have you ever seen those? I was watching a documentary about tensile strength because I watch things like that. And they were talking about tensile strength and how I believe it was no girl, the Shire is in the Lord of the Rings. Do not call it the Shire. I was going to say, I believe it was in the Shire. No, girlfriend, that is a fictional story. The Shire does not exist outside of Middle Earth. Okay. So I don't know. It's somewhere I think in I want to say it's Great Britain somewhere, like countryside. The video was talking about how the brick the brick wall it does this wave, right? It's a very noticeable wave, and the wave causes the strength of the brick wall to be amplified because it's not on a linear plane. It was not the Shire. And hey, that's a compliment because I'm a huge fan of LOTR. And the Shire is like, that's gold right there. The Shire is gorgeous. I identify as a a hobbit. What? Hold on, guys. I have an update here. My Pokemon battled hard and has returned to me. Last night, yesterday actually, my family has started me on Pokemon Go. My family started me on Pokemon Go. We were Pokemon hunting last night. And you guys, I have to share these. I have to. I have to. I was so tickled pink because look at this. My little Pokemon buddy. They upgraded him for me. They upgraded him. He now has 2 spoons. He only had 1 spoon earlier in the day. And because of all our hard work chasing down these little Pokemon, he upgraded to 2 spoons. He can really stir the shit now. Yes, yes. We entered into a gym and I was battling so hard. And I was going to say, oh my God, these motherfuckers in this gym with me suck. They're not battling hard enough. I was like, and my little finger, like, keep pushing. And then, like, I was like, wait, are you guys in this gym with me? And it was my whole family was in the gym with me. And I was like, ooh, never mind. I was going to say everyone here sucks. And all my kids were like, Mom, we're in the gym with you. Just keep pushing the button, son. Keep pushing the button. Keep pushing the button. It was fun. It was fun. It was fun. We are going to be the terror squad of this region. We have enough members in our family to dominate an entire gym. We do. We do. It's lovely. It is lovely. Okay, so you're not going to be contained any further, right? You're not going to be contained any further. There's a difference between you needing to simply keep fighting back or you needing to just be the brick wall that you are, right? It's not a bad thing to not just let people in. It's not a bad thing to be able to be like, I don't think so. You're not doing that here. You're not doing that here. That's not a bad thing. Some people will try and convince you that it's a bad thing. It's a rude thing. Those are people who don't care about your health and safety. I'm being completely serious. I had to learn the hard way through quite a few different circumstances in my life that oftentimes the people who get upset that I have standards, that I'm developing some degree of boundary and enforcing it, those who get upset and begin to tell me that I'm rude and this and that, they're the people who don't care about my health, about my well-being, about my safety. Those are people who see me as some type of thing that they can benefit from. And if I'm not in a space where I can continue to be of benefit to them, that's very inconvenient for them. And how dare I? So they're going to need me to ship up or shape up or ship out, right? I don't care. I'm at a point where if you want to continue to benefit from me, you have to just sit there and let me be who I am. Or you ship up, shape up, and ship out. You ship out. I'm not even going to give you time to shape up. Just ship out. Get on the ship and go. Yeah. You know, you just you just need to allow yourself the permission to really be who you are. There's nothing wrong with you being who you are, you know? There's nothing wrong with it. If you allow yourself to be um kind of gaslit into a space of thinking that you no longer containing the most powerful parts of you is you having some type of breakdown, you're going to continue to get manipulated, guiding you out of the shadows. Come fully into the light as you are. As you are, you will naturally shift and change and grow and become a different version of yourself. You don't have to force that, but you don't have to hide away until you're done shifting and growing. It's when you allow yourself to be witnessed in the full spectrum of your totality that you give yourself the greatest opportunity to grow. So my son gave me plants for my birthday, right? Two blueberry plants and two grapevines. And they were completely dormant when he gave them to me. And because of the weather and everything, I haven't really been able to go ahead and plant it in a pot. It's still in its bag. And the grapevine don't give a damn. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's like grown this much from the cutting. It's ready. It's like, I don't give a damn, lady. I'm just gonna grow. And that's lovely. That's lovely that it has that desire for growth. That's a beautiful thing. But if it's not placed in the proper environment, it cannot grow to the degree it has a capacity to grow. It's packed in sawdust. It needs true soil. Have your roots been packed in sawdust as you are sitting in a space of simply waiting in the shadows? You might be growing, but could you imagine what would happen if your roots were spread out and placed in beautiful soil, soil that's been enriched, soil with inoculants in it, like, ooh, soil with some chicken droppings in it, like, oh my gosh, bat guano. Oh Lord. All my plants love that type of soil. They love that type of soil. Mhm. I put inoculants in my soil, and oh my gosh, one of my plants is literally like tripping. That thing is maybe, I don't know, 12 feet tall at this point. It's like it's out of control. It's out of control. And I don't want to cut it because I'm like, go wild with your bad self." It's climbing up a cathedral wall. Yeah, no, I was just like, do it, do your thing, do your thing. If I have to move you, you're going to break, but do your thing. I'll leave you there until I have to move you. I think if you allow yourself to be repotted, which is what soul is trying to do at this point, I think wherever you're repotted, you need to set the standard of what that is, what that environment is. Don't settle for the same size pot, but just a different design. When you settle for the same size pot, but just a different design, um, that doesn't grow you. It doesn't. It doesn't grow you. It's the same thing. Just because the pot looks fancier doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. I need to ask you about my plants. They're still alive, though. You need to have a whole talk to your plant service. Oh, okay. So, if you guys have plants that are struggling, what I found to be very effective is being very just blunt in the truth. My husband got me some tropical plant for my birthday the other year, and there was a like I don't know if it's called like a snap freeze or something like that, some freak weather. And from the inside of the store, walking out to the car, it damn near killed the plant because over the next 24 to 48 hours, literally all the leaves fell off. It was this bushy, lovely thing, and all the leaves fell off. And my husband's like, honey, let's just return that and replace it with another one. And so I told my plant, because at first I was like, please, you're safe, you're warm. I love plants. I will take care of you. And then it just still kept tripping. And so finally, when my husband told me that, I went to my plant and I said, listen, bitch. I'm serious. I was like, listen, bitch, I'm gonna take your ass back to Home Depot. You know what they're gonna do to you? I spoke to the worker before. They're going to let you die and recycle your soil. Do you really want to die, or are you fake dying? Because if you're fake dying, you better knock it off. You better knock it off. Because if I take you back to Home Depot, you got like 2 days before we can't return you anymore. 2 days, and they will really let you die. They don't care. And then, I saw little buds growing. I'm serious. I was like, oh, see, I will take care of you. I'm serious. And now it's super bushy again. And it's like super duper bushy, super bushy. Yeah, I think sometimes if you're just very honest with this other living thing, um, they make their decision. You know what I mean? Because it's like if you allow yourself to kind of coddle that diseased mindset, um, it empowers it. Like my senior dog, she's 16. Her breed, the average lifespan is like 12. She's 16. And I remember when she was like a year and a half, because we've had her since she was only like a couple months old. When she was about a year and a half, she got really, really sick right along with my children because of aerial spraying in California. She lost all of her hair and she looked like a bald monkey with psoriasis. Not even joking. Not even joking. And she was so sick. And so one day I was just like, I was slathering her with a balm that I made from scratch to help her. I thought she had mange or something. And I looked her in the eyes and I said, baby girl, you picked a poor family. We don't have the budget for constant vet visits. So I'm going to need you to choose. You're either going to fully die or you're going to fully get better, but we can't play this thing of like better and then sick, better and then sick. And wouldn't you know, after that convo, within maybe 2, 3 days, all her hair grew back. And then she was perfectly fine after that. I'm so serious. I'm so serious. It was the weirdest thing ever. And that's never happened again. And it's like for how many years now? I want to say maybe 8 years or so. Every year she does something where it's like we think she's going to die, but then she just doesn't. And I don't even have to have that convo with her anymore. I'm just like, "Oh, no, this is it. This is finally it." And then she's like, "Surprise, bitches. I'm staying." And I'm like, "You little mother freaking." Yeah. I don't know if you guys remember, we got her like a $70 tomahawk steak. It was gonna be her last meal. We thought she had a brain tumor. I'm not even joking. We thought she had a brain tumor, and we were like, "Oh no, this is it." I flew my son back home because it's really his dog, and we were like, "Just love on her." um, we scheduled someone to come to the house to put her down at the house, and we're all like, I was crying for days. I was like, this is it. She has a brain tumor. And then what did you know? My son's like, "No, mom, it might just be an ear infection." And I was like, "No, that's a brain tumor." And then based on the symptoms, it's a deep ear infection that senior dogs sometimes will get. And it absolutely looks like a brain tumor. And they're like, by the fifth day or something like that, they'll just miraculously turn around. And this biznat, she just was fine after that. I was like, "We just gave you a $70 steak, boo." we just and that was a few years ago. See what I'm saying? So sometimes when you just set that intention of like, "Listen, I'm going to respect whatever you decide, but I'm not going to play this game with you." And this works for life too, not just plants and pets. This works for life where it's like you really just very matter of fact, like, "I'm not playing. I'm not threatening you, but I'm not playing. Pick one or the other, and I will accept whatever you choose." At least for me, that works. That hella works. It hella works. And it becomes something that can really empower you because then you're more in alignment. You're allowing things to kind of just take place. Right. And I think for my dog, um, I just respect however long she's going to be with us. I get the feeling she's going to be with us till she's 20. And at this point, at 16, she don't give a fuck. She doesn't. She do whatever she wants. She does whatever she wants. You could be cooking in the kitchen and she needs to stand with her head in between your legs, just staring at your toes for no reason. And you can't tell her to leave because she don't care. And that's how it is. Other living things will do what they want to do. You just need to allow yourself to be positioned in such a way where you can accept the end result while also maintaining the way the end result is allowed to affect you. And I think that's the most powerful thing that we can do as individuals. Like, it's your choice. I did the same thing with my brother who had the heart problem, right? Notice how I said had. If you guys are new to me, you probably have no idea. My brother was dying of heart failure. He like almost died several times. Like very close. We don't know why. No, I know why he's still here. I know why he's still here. But that was the thing. Um at one point I really just had this conversation with him where it's like, "You're right. This is your life and it's not my place to try and force you to be alive longer than you decide to be alive." So, it's just going to be what it is. And we will support whatever you decide. He's still alive. They gave him 3 days to 3 weeks to live. And that was in 2020, end of 2020. He's still alive. And as a matter of fact, he's no longer considered heart failure. So, is she the one that also survived a thing? Oh, yep. That's her, Teresa. That's the dog. Yep. She was high for like 10 days. That was so not funny. It was so ridiculously expensive. Yeah. She had to be in the vet ER for about a week. About a week. And she ate so much of it cuz I don't know. Some people are, remember I was saying at the beginning of this, some people are just dumb, right? So we were at a toxic relative's house taking care of my brother, and that toxic relative is dumb. They went ahead and they took a garbage bag full of cannabis. Cannabis, okay? And they hid it under the deck. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? And so we're leaving her out in the backyard, in the side yard, like an hour or so a day, just let her get sunshine and, sunbathe and stuff. And then one day my son's like, she's not okay. Something's wrong with her. And I thought she got too hot because she's all black and there's not always a shade there, depending on the time of day. And I was like, put her in the bathtub and cool her down. We're rushing home. And then she still wasn't okay. And she was walking like she was drunk and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, she doesn't feel like she's in body. We didn't know what was happening. We didn't know. None of us knew. And so we rushed her to the vet. And because it was COVID time, the vet said we couldn't be in there with her. They just like put her on a stretcher and rolled her in and told us to leave and that they would call us. And then the vet calls me after like 15 minutes or so. And she's like, so, when an animal consumes cannabis, I was like, wait, what? And she's like, yes, this is cannabis poisoning. I was like, no, she had no cannabis because we didn't know. I'm like arguing with a vet and she's like, I've seen this so many times. And I'm like, listen, cannabis is legal in California. Why would I lie to you? If I'm bringing my dog in and something's wrong with her, why would I lie? And she's like, okay, well, we're going to test her. You go ahead and drug test my dog. I was so mad. I was so offended. Like, why would I lie? And so they drug tested my dog and she failed her test. And then the vet was like, she failed her test. And I was like, what? And I felt like my child and the school was, I felt like she was my child and the school was calling to let me know they had caught her in the bathroom with all sorts of things. I was almost going to cry. And I was like, who would have given her this? And I was ready to start shit with a neighbor because the neighbor is a hippie. I was like, do you think the neighbor threw her some brownies? I was so mad. And she's like, well, I don't want to speculate, but you need to do whatever you need to do and speak to your neighbor or whatever you need to do. And then she realized like, okay, maybe this girl really isn't lying about cannabis, not being at the house. And then I told my son, so he's like looking in the backyard and she apparently ate like a quarter pound of flowers. It was like a quarter pound. Yeah, no, she went to town on the whole, it was garbage bag. She went to town and she ate at least a quarter pound because she was passing nothing but flowers, nothing but buds. And it was a lot. So she was high for like 10 days. She was never the same after that. She was never the same after that. After that, she just, I don't know, maybe God talked to her and told her that she's a sovereign. Because after that, she didn't give a damn if she upset us or anything. She just looks at you like, I don't care. Jesus just sent me back. You're not going to tell me what to do. Yeah, ever since then. So don't let your animals get a hold if you partake in that. It's apparently toxic to them. THC is very toxic to dogs and it's expensive AF. Expensive AF. Yeah. So she got her mindset. She gonna stay as long as she feel like staying. She don't give a damn what anyone says. She done. She done. Yesterday, her geriatric ass considered chasing after another animal. I could feel it running through her head, and she's like, I was like, girl, you can't even stand upright. Just relax. Just relax. Relax. And then she looked at me. She's like, okay. All right. I'm tired. Go back to your bed. Just go back to your bed. And she don't care. So listen, Manifestation. You're going to start manifesting situations that will help you to exit out of that shadow space much easier, much more efficiently. But one of the things that you're going to face is a person who refuses to take responsibility for the ways in which they created a shadow circumstance to surround you with to begin with. It seems like this is a very specific message of people who have been dealing with dark individuals, those who are intentionally malignant. You're going to be exiting out of that. You're going to exit out of that. And that is all you need to focus on. I think for several types of people in our community, because we're made of different types of people, different types of characteristics, different personalities, and that is perfectly fine. But for several types of personalities and characteristics, um, this is a cycle that's been going on for quite a few years. Someone who has been continuously, or something that has continuously been trying to access you, access your field, access your energy. Their time with you is done. They were allowed to have some degree of access to you, to trigger you. Has nothing to do with their intentions, has nothing to do with what they want. These are horrible people. I want to make that very, very clear. These are horrible, horrible people. Do not be grateful for them. They are not growing you. They are being used by your soul to provide you enough friction to push against. Okay? You are growing because you are choosing growth. Maybe for a short period, you are feeling like, oh, it's fine. I'll just be patient. I'll deal with it. Or, oh, people just are who they are. They're how they are. And all of these things that we've told ourselves to make it easier. Now it's time to see the reality of what's going on. And I just got a notification. It says you have a much bigger purpose and truth leads to rapid success. It's from the Minnow Pond Tarot. And it's happening fast. Yeah. You're being guided out of this space very, very, very quickly. Very quickly. Don't fight it. Don't fight it. Allow it to occur. These type of people, they've become so accustomed to being able to get away with the things that they've been doing to you with minimal effect to them. Not no more. Not no more. And I absolutely rejoice over the thought that people will now be held accountable for their actions. This is not about creating some type of evidence where none exists. This is about gathering actual evidence, tangible things that help you to better see they are a horrible person. And it's not for you to heal them. It is for you to accept what they are being used by your soul to do in order to push you forward in your journey. The Lady of the Mirror, reflection, non-judgment. It's time for you to judge. It's time for you to not reflect and judge, okay? Reflection. No, no. Do not be a reflection of a lesser consciousness. Do not do that tit for tat thing. Absolutely not. There are people who think like, oh, I'm going to start shit with Emmy and then she's going to do shit back to me. And then it's just going to be this back and forth. And that's how I'm going to grow my audience. That's how I'm going to this. That's how I'm going to that. No, bitch. No, bitch. I am so fucking absolutely not, bitch. No, no. All seriousness, no. It's not going to be a tit for tat thing. You go ahead and you do you. You keep saying whatever you're saying. You keep doing whatever you're doing. I'm documenting everything. I'm going to document everything. And if it gets to a point where I have enough to go ahead and launch a slander or libel thing, then that's what I'm going to do. I didn't have this logic before. It just developed over the past year. And that's what I'm going to do. And I don't delete anything ever. And yeah, no, the whole non-judgment thing, judgment is a component of discernment. If you want to develop your discernment, which is necessary for this period, or you're going to be filleted and smoked over the coals, um, you need judgment. You see, don't convince yourself that judgment is the same thing as condemnation. They are not the same thing. Judgment is a component of condemnation. Condemnation is when you use your judgment to condemn someone. Those are not the same things. Judgment is also a component of discernment, where you can decide for yourself after judging the situation based on what you've personally witnessed or experienced. You judge it as something that is safe for you, or you judge it as something that is not safe for you and therefore should not be allowed near you. Right? It's time for you to face life and face the circumstances that you have avoided. Now, as a Piscean, I will say this, us Pisceans, we have a habit of doing this tremendously. And then when we're done, you know what happens? We go way out of hand in um in the correction. Can we find a middle ground where we say something before we get angry? We do something before it becomes a retaliatory thing? Because then after we retaliate and we fully destroy whatever it is we're looking to destroy, and let me tell you, if y'all think Scorpio is formidable, wait till you find yourself a piss the fuck off Piscean. No other sign holds a torch when it comes to a pissed off Piscean, especially one that's extremely patient, extremely forgiving, one that just doesn't say anything, doesn't complain, just continues and pretends like everything is okay. That's not the one you want to piss off. That's even worse than a toxic Piscean, which is quite possibly the most toxic sign. A toxic Piscean, oh, oh Lord. You know, those stories that I've shared, where people were trying to cyberbully me and trying to cancel me and all of that. Those, I was dealing with two specific toxic Pisceans. One is a Pisces sun, one is a Pisces moon. Toxic as fuck. Well, bitches, you didn't realize I'm a fucking Piscean too. Wait till I've had enough. And now those two are quiet. Why? Because I've fucking had enough. Don't even let me catch a whiff of you still trying to keep tabs on me. Because see, the Pisceans that stay quiet, they often stay quiet and don't react or respond because they know once they start, ain't nothing gonna stop them until you're done. And then they feel bad for you. So don't push it until they don't care anymore. Because those ones, you ain't never experienced anything like that in your life. Ever. Ever. Maybe some of us need to channel some of that. Where when you're done, you are literally done. You are literally done. See, when I'm done, I don't give a shit. I have zero sympathy, zero empathy, zero cares whatsoever. You get what you get, and what you get is what you created. Eat it up. Eat it up. Lick the spoon and the plate. That's all you. Don't get us to that point. It takes a lot. So, to date, yeah, I think the most recent time I've gotten to that point, it took me nearly 4 years of just tolerating and like, okay, you're gonna be done. I'm whatever. I'm not even gonna interact with you. Like, you're gonna get bored of this. You're gonna stop. And now I'm like, no, don't keep going. Keep going. Let's fucking go all the way. Keep fucking going. Hmm. Oh, but I don't give a shit. I don't care about you. I don't care about your family. I don't care. You're their problem, not mine. You created a problem. I'm just making sure that problem is completely and utterly laid to rest on my terms because now I realize you have no sense of anything, no sense of self control, no sense of reality. So let me go ahead and guide you out of the shadows and straight into jail. Go it. Go. Keep going. Keep going. Keep doing. No one can stop you. No one can tell you what to do, right? No one can tell you what to do. Don't let them stop you. Don't let them limit you. They told you that you need to stop. Why? You don't need to stop. Just keep going. Keep going. No consequences for you, right? You never had any consequences. It's not different. You're gonna get away with it. Yeah, because you've never come across someone like me before. Absolute consequences. Everywhere you look. Absolute. And then when I'm done with that, I carry on with my life. But I will not carry on until I know that that's completely done. Because when I say I'm done, everything needs to be done. Everything needs to be done. I will not be this thing of simply reflecting petty behavior, not using proper judgment. No. Oh, no, no, no. No, 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 no. By the time I reach that point where I feel like I need to carry this all the way through till full correction, that's typically because I see you and your lack of character. And I will not allow you to continue forward in this same behavior, affecting other people just like me. I will be the last one you try this shit with. And that's the thing about me. Once I get to that point, nothing takes me from that point. Nothing can shake me from that point. I sit right there and I watch everything until it is complete. If you apply this to your life, don't initiate something and then turn your back. You're being guided out of the shadows. Do not leave any room for the shadows to follow you into the next part of your journey. Patience and stillness. Sit in a space of stillness and have patience as this begins to play out. As this needs to be witnessed, just take a nap. Stay right there. Take a nap. You are perfectly safe where you're at. You are perfectly safe where you are at. The Metal King, discipline, armor, boundaries. It's in reverse. So, what's that tell me? You might be dealing with someone who thinks they are a metal king. They think they're disciplined. They wear this metal armor. They think they can decide what your boundaries are and which boundaries they will destroy. Guess what? You think metal is powerful? Mhm. What happens when you wet that metal with water? It starts to rust and corrode. They've been in your presence for a long time. They're metal. Their armor has corroded. You have allowed them to think that they are this um, untouchable. Oh, they're not very intelligent. They're not very tactical in their logic. All that's happened is they've been constantly exposed to your humidity. Mhm. Little did they know they've been corroding their own armor, remaining in your presence, trying to handle and steal your liquid vitality. There are some people who exist who simply do things because they want to see, they want to witness you suffering as a result of what they're doing. It makes them feel powerful. To that, I say, yo, fucking mama. I said it. I said, yo, fucking mama. Who's suffering now? Yo, mama is. That's not my concern. You did that. And some people might say that's heartless. No, that's reality. Stop taking ownership for someone else's toxicity. That is not your child acting a fool. That is someone else's child acting a fool with you. So, no, let this be laid completely out and dried in the sun. Let it be laid out and dried in the sun. Do not allow any of this to come forward with you. The well watcher, wisdom, power of the divine, but it's in reverse. What you're dealing with is a person who lacks wisdom, completely lacks wisdom, and they think they are being protected by the divine. They're not. It's a fucking demon. I wouldn't be surprised if it's someone who's like parasitic in nature, an organic portal, or just flat out possessed. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what you're dealing with. I really would not be surprised. And don't be afraid. You've been dealing with it for how long? So why be afraid now? Instead, use your energy to go ahead and finally resolve this so it can be completely done. Isn't it hilarious when someone is so delusional that they actually believe you are suffering because of them or without them? Thank you for that, Rainbow Flames. Absolutely. Absolutely. Here's the thing, and I find this hilarious. I think you guys will too. So I totally have raging ADHD. It's true. Hamster rave in my head all day long. You think you're gonna punish me by being quiet with me? I don't know, maybe like 30 minutes after you start, I forgot you existed. Oops. I'm not even trying to be hurtful. That's just really how my brain works. If you're not completely present, I forget you exist until like months later. I'm like, oh my God, I need to check on so and so. Yeah, I'm very busy. And, you know, I don't know. Sounds like a spiritual person I know that tries to tell me I'm wrong for discernment. That's not a spiritual person, honey. That's a demon horita. Textbook definition of a demon horita. Someone who keeps trying to insert themselves into your journey and impress upon you their will and their perception. That's literally, literally demonic behavior. I'm not even joking. That's demonic behavior. I would absolutely steer clear of whoever that is. Please don't tell me who it is. I don't want to know. I would absolutely steer clear of that. That's literal demon behavior, trying to force their opinions on you. Yep. For those of you who don't know if you're dealing with someone that's demonic, are they trying to force you to agree with them, force you to admit that they are right and accurate about you and your journey? You know how many people have tried to convince me that they are my twin flame? I don't fucking think so. You are nothing like me at all. That's weakness. And my weakness doesn't exist in that way. I'm good, right? Those are people who think they have the power of the divine backing them up. Divinity, you notice God doesn't step in and halt suffering, and God allows you to experience the end result of your choices. How is them trying to force you to see life in the way they see life a byproduct of divinity. It's not. It's not. There's nothing divine about that at all. So you're being guided out of this shadow space where people have done this to you. And because they've presented themselves as more spiritual than you, which I feel that's what's happened to you, Dimi. You know, you categorize them as a spiritual person because this is someone who's been in their words and their actions trying to force you to see them as spiritual, right? You wouldn't have come to that conclusion yourself. It's because they're forcing you by coercion. Like, look at me, I'm spiritual. I know these words, I know these terms. No, you're not. No, you're not. Spirituality is not taught, nor is it lectured. Spirituality is a personal experience lived by unique individuals. And only you know what your spirituality is and how that spirituality presents itself in your life on a daily basis. Right? You got to make sure that you allow yourself to get to a space where you really, really step into your full power. The phoenix, resurrection, surrender to change, but it's in reverse. Even the concept of the phoenix. So many concepts have been greatly distorted or full out convoluted. The phoenix, resurrection, surrender to change. Do you need to be resurrected? Only if you're volunteering to be destroyed. Do you need to surrender to change? Whether you surrender or not, change will occur. And when you fight it, you create adversity within yourself. Do you need to surrender? I would say the better word is to flow, accept, submit to the changes. Allow yourself to become aligned with what it is your soul is trying to present you. Let me see. Define, submit. Accept or yield to superior force or to the authority or will of another person, subject to a particular process, treatment, or condition. Present to a person or body for consideration or judgment. Suggest, argue. Submittere. Sub is under. Mittere is send, to put. It means to present for judgment. To present or propose to another for review, consideration, or decision. To deliver formally. To put forward as an opinion or contention. Fascinating. Fascinating. Okay. Work through your fears in reverse. It's time to release negativity in reverse. Both of these scorpionic. Yeah, work through your fears. It's time to release negativity, but it's in reverse. So this is telling me that you're currently in a space where you're choosing to avoid what you fear and you're still holding on to the negativity that is kind of initiated by that fear. I wouldn't say that's a condemnation of you. I wouldn't say that, oh, you're talking caca about me. No, that's kind of just an awareness of where you're positioned. And if you feel that way, then that tells me you don't like where you're positioned, but you're not doing anything about it. Oops. No, seriously. If when someone says something that you know is true, they say this about you and they're just making kind of like a neutral observation, like, hey, I noticed this, this, and this. And you get offended. You have to ask yourself, Am I offended because it's a lie? Or am I offended because it's the truth and it's something that I dislike about myself? And how dare you bring it up? Because now I have to face it head on rather than continue to ignore it and avoid it the way I have been. And that's not something that you need to make an externalized process, meaning you don't have to speak these things out loud. You can have a very internal process and ask yourself these questions inside yourself silently, and then give yourself the reality of the answer again inside yourself silently. Sometimes people are brought to us to bring our attention to processes that we're having that really it's like we're struggling being honest with ourselves. And so soul will bring us people who have no problem being honest and they're not trying to be hurtful. And it's just you need to address what needs to be addressed. Part of guiding you out of your shadows requires you to address what you've placed before you to serve as a blockage, a justification to keep you trapped in that space of limited existence. For some of us, we feel more um, safer limiting ourselves. And maybe it's this thing of your awareness of your limitless potential overwhelms your senses. I have a sensory integration problem, right? It is a problem. It's not just a condition, it's a problem. It's a problem for me. Um, I tend to lack awareness of positioning of my body at times. It takes quite a bit for me to be aware of body positioning. And one of the things that helps me is compression clothing. If I'm wearing something that compresses that body part, I'm fully aware of where it is. I can be much more coordinated in my movement. Yeah, it's one of those things, right? And so if you make the analogy that the compression suit is that limited space of existence, that small space that you've confined yourself in, maybe it's you just trying to make sense of how you fit into the world. You don't have to be put in a box to know where your parts are. Why don't you put on a bodysuit, a compression bodysuit that is an analogy? It's serving as an analogy to what? To the detrimental words and opinions that people have shared with you about yourself. I've become aware that I carry those things with me, not because I'm holding a grudge, but because they serve as a compression suit that helps me to understand the gravity of my presence, of my existence, of my purpose. You know that saying that you know you've made it, or that you're making a change when people are so fucking mad at you for no reason? Compression suit. Like, what are you mad at me for? Because I don't have an opinion like yours? Why does that make you mad? Ah, that's right. Because you see the validity of what I'm saying and it contradicts everything you're saying. And your cognitive dissonance is kicking in. So you're not mad at me. You're projecting your anger at me. In reality, you're feeling pissed off and disempowered because you believe bullshit. And you can't understand how you didn't know it was bullshit. That's okay. That's okay. Your attempts to be hurtful and harmful to me are serving as another thread that's woven into my compression suit. I'm not going to stay in a box. I'm going to keep moving. And all the things people say and do to try and keep me confined, it just adds to the compression of my suit, which gives me a better sense of how much I'm actually growing and the effectiveness of my movement. The only person that can stop you is you. And honestly, we're entering into a period where I don't even know if you'll be able to do that to yourself. I've fought myself long enough to know every time I try and fight myself, I always lose anyways. I'm not good at losing. That's why I don't compete with people. I become far too competitive because, like I said, I don't know how to lose. That is not something that I am able to tolerate very well. So instead of putting myself in those situations, I go ahead and I'm not competitive in that way. But now I'm also seeing it's time for me to heal that wound. I cannot avoid that any longer. I need to learn how to work through that. And so, how am I going to do that? I'm going to do a full on competition. And it takes me back to the conversation I had with my child where he was like, why do you want to keep building muscle? So that you can flex and compete with people who have no muscle? Like, no. The people I'm going to compete with are absolutely just as dedicated to building muscle for themselves as I am for me. That is a fair fight. That is a fair fight. Absolutely. That's fair. That is something where I don't have to worry about am I being too aggressive? Am I being intimidating? Oh, I don't think any of those ladies will be intimidated by me. They're going to be hyping themselves up in their head just like I'm going to be hyping myself up in my head like, mhm. It's all good. It's all good. Does that mean we're enemies? No. That means we are all vying for that one thing, and only one of us can have it. And when one of us gets it, we're all going to celebrate that. Yeah. That's healthy. That's very healthy for me to be able to allow that part of me to finally exist in the appropriate environment. I think you've been cultivating all of these different parts of you while you've been hidden away in the shadows, thinking you're not good enough. See this card? You're good enough, but it's in reverse. So that's your soul letting you know that it is aware you think you are not good enough. You're not good enough to this. You're not good enough to that. Who said? A person who saw that you're more than good enough and got intimidated, so they tried to convince you that you're not. I've come across many people like that. I've come across many people who I have considered someone I'm developing a friendship with, only to realize it was never a friendship. They were trying to get close enough to see what the secret sauce is so that they could win. Ooh, got a notification. Pay attention, catch this tidal wave. Ooh. Is there a tidal wave coming? Or is that simply the ocean rising to meet you? You wouldn't come out to sea, so the sea is coming in to see you. Your destiny is coming no matter what. It is coming whether you are ready or not. Do yourself a favor. Get ready. Get centered within yourself and embrace the changes that are coming for you. You got to allow this to happen. Be bold and make the first move. It's in reverse again. That fear keeps being brought up, right? Fear of the unknown, fear of how things will play out. You will not know how things will play out, and you cannot guarantee how things will play out. Not until you go through the motions and live it. Right? Right. You have a much bigger purpose. Ooh, wee. Okay. So as I turned over this card, I saw a notification come in that says you have a much bigger purpose than this twin flame thing. You have a much bigger purpose. Ask yourself this question. For those of you who are still struggling with the concept of twin flames and it's affecting your relationship, the person who you've identified as a twin flame, would you tolerate what they are doing to you if they were not your twin flame? If the answer is no, then you should absolutely not tolerate it from them. Why is it that whenever we're in a romantic relationship, for those of us who are part of a spiritual belief structure, that person has to be categorized as your twin flame? Can't they just be a regular soul that you've fallen madly in love with? And maybe we cling on to this idea of twin flame so that we can hold on to someone that clearly doesn't want us. Because we can justify their poor treatment of us as, oh, but they're my twin. It's just the runner chaser dynamic. No. I've been with my husband for 25 years. He is not a twin anything, but he's absolutely the love of my life and my soul. I have waited many lifetimes to have the life I'm having with this man. Many lifetimes have ended longing for this life I'm living right now. Is he my twin flame? Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, some days when I'm feeling petty and I want to start shit, I will refer to him as a twin to his face and he'll be like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then I will be satisfied and I will laugh heartily. Yes. Yeah, no, he's not a twin anything. He's not a twin anything. And as a matter of fact, anyone that I categorize as a twin, uh, if you're my actual twin, you better know me better than my husband knows me. And you better treat me better than he treats me. And let me tell you, he set the bar real fucking high. Real fucking high. Yep. Mm-hmm. You want to act a fool? Go do that somewhere else. I don't give a fuck if you're my twin or not. Go do that somewhere else. I'm not taking that. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So think to yourself, are you in a relationship or you're in a break or whatever it is, and you're holding on? Why? You're very unhappy in that situation. You're holding on. Why? Because that's your twin. How are they treating you again? Because they should not be doing that to you if they're your twin. They should not be doing that to you if they're your twin. And you should not be tolerating that either. At all. At all. I found several twins. One of my twins, I didn't talk to him for so long, he thought I died. I'm not even joking. He was so worried. Why did I stop talking to him? Well, because I felt he was dismissive. I felt he was dismissive. And then he said something rude. And finally, I snapped and I was like, you know what? Fuck you. Don't ever call me again. And then I blocked him on everything. Yep. And then I think it was like for like 2 years. He couldn't reach me because he was blocked on everything. He was blocked on everything. And finally, like everywhere I look, it's a reference to him. Everything is a reference to him. And I got sick and tired of it. And I could feel him like really worried. And so one day I just called him. I was like, what do you want? Like, what are you tripping about? What do you want? And he's like, oh my God, I've been trying to find you for like 2 years. I'm like, yeah, what do you want? And he was like, I was just worried about you and your kids. Like, I couldn't feel you at all anymore. I don't give a fuck. You were rude as fuck. Why would I let you feel me? Or my family? You were rude. And he was like, I'm really sorry. Yeah, I don't care if you're sorry. You didn't care how you made me feel. He's like, yeah, no, I was going through things. Yeah, you were. And he was genuine. He was really sorry. He did not realize that I would hold him accountable because he gets away with a lot of shit. It's like, no. Mm-mm. He's like, we're supposed to be twins. Yeah, that's why you got cut off, because you're not going to treat me any which way you want. I'm not one of your homies. I'm not one of these girls that you talk to online. Like, you should know, just like no one can be disrespectful to you, I'm not going to tolerate your shit. Because we are very similar like that. Very similar. And I tell you, never did that again. He never did that again. All he needed to know was that one time, I'm going to hold you accountable for all of your shit. Like, mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nope. You have to know when you're holding on to something in order to keep you trapped to the same cycles so that you don't have to grow, you don't have to move forward. Blu-ray awakening in reverse is this refusal to see the things that you've outgrown. And that's the very thing that keeps you in a space of shadow. Soul separation. You need to separate yourself from those who are not worthy of the time and effort you put into trying to maintain something that doesn't even exist. Are you trying to maintain a friendship that doesn't exist? Are you the only one? Here's a good test. Are you consistently the only one that continues to message and keep in contact? And the only time you interact with the individual is if you initiate it first. Yes? Stop initiating it, see what happens. If they never reach out, because sometimes people are busy, right? If they never reach out, then you know exactly where you stand. You know exactly where you stand and leave it alone. You don't need an explanation. Leave it alone and move forward. The people who mean a lot to me, I get very, very busy and I get very absent minded. I get caught up in a lot of different things, downloads. Michael's always in my ear, all sorts of different things. These are not excuses. This is me taking accountability. This is the reasoning as to why I get busy. When I realize I haven't spoken to people I care about in a while, they're usually the ones that initiate convo with me, and I haven't opened messages in a while. I haven't responded in a while, or I realize, oh my gosh, they haven't messaged me in a while. I reach out. Absolutely. Hey, I'm so sorry. I've been so busy. You know how my brain works. How's everything? And I make sure to set some time aside to reconnect. For my besties, if I am able to wake up earlier than them, I take it as my cue. It's my turn to reach out. Because at no point do I ever want them to feel like the only reason we have a connection is because they keep having to force the connection. For the people that you cherish, you don't do that to them. You reciprocate. You make them feel as special as they make you feel. You go out of your way. You show that you care. And if you're the one that's consistently doing that and it's not being reciprocated, that's part of the shadow that's obscuring your view of where you're headed. These are people that don't belong with you. These are people that are not your people. And if it's a romantic relationship, I think you're going to need to sit and think for yourself for a little bit about what it is you're doing, your objective, why, what you're holding on to, what's actually happening. I don't feel like it's my place to tell people what to do with their romantic relationships. Flow in reverse. There's stagnation. There's no flowing. There's none of that. None of that. And if there's none of that, why are you okay with that? And if you're not okay with that, then what are you doing there still? So it's this visual that I'm being given, a dry riverbed, and this memory of that dry riverbed being an expansive river, right? It's a river. There's a lot of, water, and it was beautiful at one point, and then it dried up, and you still sit there at the edge of the dry riverbed, thinking that it's just the season and it will return. And maybe it started as just the season, but before the season could turn and the river come back to you, the path of the river further upstream was diverted. That river will never return to you. No matter how long you wait, it's taken a new course. And that is not something you can control. These are things you need to consider as you are being guided out of those shadows, direction in reverse. I think for many of us, we don't even know what direction to go. Do you need to know what direction to go when you're having an adventure? You have everything you need with you. You have that lamba spread. I'm telling you, I love Lord of the Rings. You have the lambas bread, the bread of the elven. You don't need anything else. You have a drop of the waters from Rivendell. It will serve as a light in the darkness. Um, yeah, no, you have everything you need. So really, anywhere you go, you'll be perfectly fine. So just have an adventure, keep going, carry forward, do what needs to be done, and then have fun while you're doing it. Have fun while you're doing it. Allow yourself to finally be a little bit more carefree in the way you approach life. Not everything has to be carefully planned, carefully orchestrated. Some things need to just be allowed to happen. And I think this is one of those things. I think for many of us, we're entering into a period where all the change that's about to happen, it's already perfectly aligned, and it's going to happen, and it's going to be something that is going to be um, one hell of an adventure. So put your adventure undies on, put your adventure boots on, and go. Just let yourself have some fun for once. Be fully present and observe the ways in which life is changing for your greatest good. Okay. I got to get going, guys. Got class to teach. If you'd like to join me, I totally forgot about all of this. Hold on really quick. I will remind you guys about a couple things. Totally forgot about all of this. Okay. Here we go. Let's get this party started. Right. I have the Morphogenetic Fundamentals workshop that's going to be coming up in a few weeks. If you would like to learn how to work your energy the way I do, it was not taught or read in a book somewhere. I just know how to do this. Click on that QR code or the link in the comment. And I have the comfort care meditation coming up. This is a 1 hour energetic event where if you are dealing with physical pain or anything like that, yeah, you need to make sure. I'm sorry. Ah, sorry. I just suddenly am triggered. I'm just suddenly triggered. Yeah. Okay, so comfort care meditation. This is a perfect meditative event for those who struggle with chronic pain, chronic discomfort, emotional, physical, all of that. This is designed to help with those symptoms. And then, of course, tomorrow is the lunar eclipse. I'm going to be going live at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you would like to get some energy work done, an energy scan, any of those things, click on that QR code or the link in the comments, and it'll take you exactly where you need to go to get those things. I got to get going, guys. Please make sure you follow and share. Give this video a thumbs up, and look for me across all social media. I'm Evolving. I'll see you guys again very soon.